Hello everyone and welcome back to some new Super Mario Bros Wii without touching the ground. I'd love to say this is part 3, but it's not. This part is 6-1, because this level gets its own episode for being so hard and annoying. Now, what's so bad about 6-1? Well, first of all, the intro. Now, we're supposed to make our way to the right to land on some ledges. Now, doing so would be easy, except we can't reach it because of a ceiling in the way. So, that jump is impossible. We can't make our way over to those semi-solid ledges. So what do? Well, we can't do anything. Now, this would make this level impossible, and therefore the challenge. Except for the fact that Nintendo left a secret invisible block with a 1-up in it. That block is really hard to hit without getting sent back down into the stone spike, but it's doable. Now, I'm actually able to progress. And now we get introduction to these ledges, which are really annoying because they really nerf your jump distance. And that's something that we need. Also, basically doing anything will make you grab onto them, even if you don't want to. And now we're at an annoying section because we have to perfectly propel over this little gap and land on these question mark blocks. Doing it wrong will result in us touching the ground. And now we have to go across some semi-solid platforms. Also, bullet bills that are RNG, sort of. Due to camera being annoying in this level, or different in this game, bullet bills only spawn when the camera is on them, so this jump can sometimes result in death. Now, we will have to perfectly propel her all the way down here, and also you can get hit here with RNG. And you might be thinking, hold up, you just touched the ground. But I didn't. These pictures were taken one frame apart, and as you can clearly see, one of them is Mario in the air, and one of them is Mario climbing. And neither one is Mario touching the ground. Meaning, we never actually touch the ground in that section. So, that's great. And now we have a painful jump. And by painful, I mean really painful. That little gap is really annoying to get through, and you can't jump. Yeah, you can't jump off these little climbable surfaces. So what you have to do is you have to fall off to the right and propel her at the right time to land on some question mark blocks to the right. And doing this a little bit too early will result in you not getting enough distance. And doing this too late will result in you landing on the ground. And that's the first part of this level. The easy section. Now, I say this level really ramps up in difficulty here. And this is where my attempts really start going down the drain. Because, well, I have to use Mini Mario. So, let's cut to an attempt that actually started making some progress in this new section. This was one of my first times actually getting through it. The first thing I did was almost add in Luigi. We need to do this, but we need to give Mario the mini mushroom first. Now, we need Luigi, but we need him to be in any state but mini, because for some reason, if you're climbing a surface and a bullet bill goes towards you and you're on top of it, you can stomp on the bullet without actually moving. And if you're mini, you'll bounce off the bullet. So you have to be at least small, or even propeller or big will work, but mini won't, and that'll be useful a little bit later. So in this attempt, I ended up getting Luigi in front of Mario. This is a little bit more annoying. What I do is I move Luigi to the right some, and then I jump over him with Mario and land on those bricks. Now, well, Luigi goes in a bubble for now, but we're going to have to do a fun little trick. Now, you know how I said that Mario will just bounce off the bullets? Well, that's because he's very light and doesn't damage them. And that can be abused a lot. And that's necessary for this section. Now, this little gap is way too far to make with a propeller mushroom. But Mini Mario, by bouncing on a bullet bill, by perfectly landing on it and bouncing on it, can make it underneath this little ceiling and actually stay in the air and make it all the way to these ledges. Now, that was basically the tutorial for the worst part of this challenge, I'd say. This next part is really difficult and has cost me so many attempts. Now, it's not this little section right here, but you can see this bullet blaster, and that is the section a little bit up ahead. Now, first of all, we're going to do a little bit of a wall jump off the side, and we're going to go down here. That jump isn't too difficult. It's a little bit precise though, and you can get some bad RNG with the bullets. But here's why we need Luigi. Now, you see those two parallel bullets? We have to bounce on the bottom one, but if we do, we'll just fly directly into the top one. So we have to position Luigi so he'll actually knock out the top bullet bill, so we can bounce on the bottom one, underneath that one block gap. Now, I say that like it's easy, but this has taken way more tries than could be imagined. And there you go. That was one of the first attempts that I actually got that on. And then immediately after, we get more fun with RNG. Stone spikes. Now, first of all, what I do is I let some of these bullet bills, well, get off screen because they seem to be very annoying here. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my way onto that bullet blaster and get Mario to start bouncing on Luigi. Now, my plan is to ground pound each of those stone spikes. Hopefully, it'll work. So let's see if that worked in this attempt. I go ahead and move Luigi towards Mario by shaking his remote, and then by bubbling Mario, well, first I have to position Luigi, and finally by getting him to bounce on Mario, I bubble Mario, and then I, well, get him popped on Luigi. Now, I actually need to start killing those stone spikes. Let's see if I can get it on this attempt. I go ahead and bounce off Luigi's head high, and I wall jump twice, and what do you know? All stone spikes basically have rocks on them. One of them killing Mini Mario. So, sadly, this attempt failed. Now, this was one of the first attempts that I got the bullet trick, though. Let me show you when I eventually got the stone spikes. This was on a later attempt. I go ahead and bring Luigi over. I get him to land directly on the bullet blaster, as you can see. So now I go ahead and rebubble Mario, and then he pops on Luigi, and we're going to try that again. Now, this time, as you can see, the stone spike again pulled out a boulder. But thankfully I was able to make my way over to the third one in a row, ground pound it, as well as the fourth one. Now you're probably thinking I can't make it back, but thankfully bubbles exist, so I can. Now I have to knock out those last two. Now, I also have to be worried about that bullet bill on the top, because that can kill Mario. So I'm going to let it get off screen. Now I have to wait for the perfect opportunity to get rid of these stone spikes. I do so, do one good bounce on Luigi's head, wall jump, and pray to the RNG that I actually get it. And I don't. Yeah, another failed attempt. Except thankfully I bubbled that time, so I never did touch ground, so that gives me another shot. So, let's try this again. So I go ahead and wall jump again, ground pound on these two stone spikes, and thankfully I got good RNG, or good timing that time. And I bubble, and I make my way back over to Luigi. And now we get on to the worst part of this level. Now I say it's the worst because if I mess this up, well, then I messed up. I'll have to restart the entire level over again and do everything over again. So that's fun. So what I have to do here is, now that gap right to the right is too, well, long in order to propel through. And even if I could, it wouldn't help enough because, well, propellering would just land me outside. And there's a long stretch of land outside before the flagpole. So what I have to do is I have to do two very precise wall jumps. Otherwise I'll grab the ledge. So I have to fall off, wall jump underneath the ledge, and then I have to air twirl out and then bounce on a bullet bill to the end. Let's see if I get it in this attempt. Sadly, no. Yeah, that was annoying. I was so close, yet I didn't get it. Thankfully, I didn't give up, and this was one of my last attempts. It's been probably 22.5 hours. Then again, I could be wrong, but it sure felt like a long time. So, I had been constantly refreshing my capture card because it's ran out of space so many times. That's how long it's taken me. So, this was one of my last few attempts. And then this happened. I went ahead and I got ready to wall jump. I hugged the wall, jump, shake that controller like I'm shaking an enemy at Wario Land Shake It. Now, this platform could have ruined my run, but I made over it. Then I air twirled and I would have went back for that bullet bill, but I didn't want to risk it. And there you go. It might have cost Luigi his life. Yeah, he fell off, but we did it. We beat 6-1 without touching the ground. It's finally done. I never want to go back there ever again. But with that out of the way, now we can move on to 6-2. 6-3 is sadly impossible. I've already looked into it. But hey, that's for next time. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.